welcome. And I just cannot thank the Country Village veterans and all the veterans throughout the Harupa Valley for the support that you've given me over the years. And yes, I am very, very proud to be a U.S. Army veteran. I was scared to death when I was drafted back in 1968, as anyone would be during that time, or any time for that matter, when we were at war. But it was absolute best training that I ever had in my life. And it taught me to be a man, it taught me respect for others, and most importantly, I already had it, but it gave me that much more respect for our country. And boy, do we have the greatest country in the world. And you know, that's why I don't have a prepared speech. Just so you know, I don't have a prepared speech. I'm just going to go from the heart. That's why I'm pursuing this office for U.S. Congress. 20-some years ago, I had the opportunity to go to Washington, D.C. and visit it for the first time. And I was struck by the community, by our U.S. Capitol and all that happens there, and all the history. And I decided at that point in time, on the plane ride back with my wife, that I wanted to consider going into politics. So I talked to a man who I respected highly at that time. His name is Congressman Al McCandless. I knew him. Came from a large Democratic family, believe it or not. And we were always taught to just do what's right, John. My dad, who was a very, very strong Democrat, said, just do what is right. And I've never forgotten that. But from that point on, I decided I want to enter politics. And I was told by Al McCandless, then Congressman, John, the best training you could ever have if you want to come to Congress, U.S. Congress, is on the Board of Supervisors. That's actually what he did for 12 years, that's 3 terms. So that's what I did. I decided to pursue the Riverside County Board of Supervisors. I've been on the board for 18 years in a nonpartisan office representing everyone, representing the community. Didn't matter what their party was. Sorry for the microphone. Need to get one of those green pills that, blue pills. I'm sorry. It's just a joke. I decided that I wanted to get into politics. On the Board of Supervisors, you represent everybody. Doesn't matter what their color is, doesn't matter what their wealth is, doesn't matter what their party was or is. And for the last 18 years, all I've been doing along with my staff has been striving to improve the numerous communities that I represent, not only just in my supervisorial district, the 2nd District of Riverside County, but the entire county of Riverside and the region. And I've been known to be a leader in the region and a leader in the state. I don't like to toot my horn, but I just came off of 1 year as the president of the California State Association of Counties. I represented all 58 counties in the state of California. And last year was the most difficult year counties have faced in decades. I'm very, very proud of that position that I held on the Board of the County State Association last year. I had actually put out of my mind 5 or 6 years ago, when I had my first grandbaby. My little granddaughter is soon to be 6. She reminded me last Friday evening while she was laying in the hammock, almost falling asleep, Papa, I'll be 5 3/4 years soon. And I said, yep, you sure will, Lulu. We call her Lulu. Her name is Madeline Rose. I said, yep, you sure will. 5 years ago when she was born, though, I decided, this is it. I'm going to stay on the Board of Supervisors until I get tired, and then I'm going to spend some time with my grandbabies. But I have to tell you, over the last couple of years, now I have a 2nd grandchild, grandson. I've been watching the happenings in Washington, D.C., and I am completely fed up with what we're seeing in Washington, D.C. I'm not fighting the Democratic Party. I'm fighting Washington. Washington, D.C. is messed parties need to start coming together for common ground to bring our country back on its feet. Otherwise, we are going to be in a world of hurt. And my grandbabies, and your grandbabies and great-grandchildren, and your children, they are going to be in a world of hurt if we don't turn things around. How are we going to do that? It's going to take leadership. It's going to take leadership and bipartisan cooperation. It's going to take getting rid of the nonsense that we see in Washington, D.C. today. And I hate to say it, but I'm now a veteran. Not only a veteran in the U.S. Army, I'm very proud to say, but I'm a veteran in public policy. Believe it or not, it's been 18 years since I've been on the Board of Supervisors. And I remember coming here early on when I was still campaigning in 1994. And all of you, many who have left us, opened up your arms. And you were there for me, and you continue to be there for me. And it's because of you and our children and the wonderful communities that we have here in Riverside County that I've decided to take this very big step to go to U.S. Congress. I can tell you about the problems, but I don't need to. We have a debt. Our country is in debt to the tune of almost $17 trillion. Much of that debt is owed to China. We have a healthcare system that is spiraling out of control. We have the highest unemployment rates that we've seen in decades, and we've got to get people back to work. But we're not going to do that by fighting. We're not going to do that by disagreeing constantly within the ranks of the U.S. Congress and Senate between the parties. We have to bring these parties together, and that's what I hope to do when I go to U.S. Congress. In fact, I will do it. I'll probably have, believe it or not, you know, if you don't pay attention to what they tell you to do, you get a really big, or really small office. I may not even have an office in one of those buildings. I'll probably have a little guard shack outside one of the Rayburn building or the Cannon building, one of the House of Representatives office buildings. But I'm doing it because I care about our country. I love our country, and I want to make our country continue to grow and prosper. And you can count on me when you go to the polls. I will do that. I'm a fighter. Those of you that have known me and worked with me over the years, you know that I don't take no for an answer. When something needs to get done, we get it done. Sometimes it gets done a little quicker than normal. Sometimes it takes a little longer than we would like. But in the end, we usually get it done, and that's what I'm going to do when I go to U.S. Congress. So I could go on all day. I know you're hungry. They put me on first because I told Don I wasn't going to eat. Trying to get myself in shape, you see, for the next 2 months ahead. So because I'm not eating, he's holding all of you up for eating, which, in any event, I'm more than happy. You know the problems, ladies and gentlemen. You know what we're seeing every day in the newspaper, what we're seeing on the nightly news. It's uncalled for. It's embarrassing. Our country deserves better, and I just hope to make a small part in turning that around so that we can all prosper, and our grandchildren especially can prosper. So with that, I'm going to open it up for questions if you have any. And by the way, I will never, ever, ever stop supporting and continuing to support and expanding whatever is necessary to serve our veterans. I'm completely against some of the makes my blood curdle when we talk about reducing defense and some of our armed forces. We just can't afford to do that. There's too many risks for our country around the world. We've got to continue to beef up our armed forces and ensure that we continue to charge ahead, and like so many of our soldiers on the ground do. So with that, I'm going to open it up for questions and hopefully let you all eat soon. Any questions for me? Yes, sir.
I was interested, is there any projects going on in the redevelopment in the Riverside, Ontario area that might put some top people back to work?
I heard you. One thing I don't do because one thing I don't do is hear very well. I think what you said, are there any processes going on as a result of the substitution of redevelopment that are going to put people back to work?
Redevelopment for hospitals, universities, anything, redevelopment in Riverside area that might put past executives to work. I mean, when I was in sales and marketing in county, multi-billion-dollar company.
That's a good question. We have our in Riverside County, we have our workforce development group that works with those that have lost jobs or are underemployed, if you will, today because of the economy, and so they want to get back up into what they were doing, or at least some type of gainful employment. So we have a program that helps there. We also put together our Department of Foreign Trade, which works with our local U.S. companies, to help them, assist them in providing exports, working with other countries so that we can export our goods and services. For instance, South Korea, Croatia, we just wrapped up an agreement with Croatia, Canada, and those are actually helping to lower our unemployment because it's putting more people back to work locally here, U.S. citizens back to work locally. I'm not sure you asked specifically about redevelopment, but redevelopment will probably come back in some form under a different title to deal with housing primarily. Did that answer, were those all your questions?
Yes, that sounds.
You sure? Okay, I'll be around afterwards. I'm going to stick around so if you have any more specific questions.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir. Any others? Oh, come on. Yes.
Hi. Since we are a senior village, I've talked to seniors in other places, not as large as ours, and they have a van that goes, take the seniors like one day to the bank. They'll go to different banks during the week and maybe to the market, you know, and it's free for our people that live here. We need one of those because so many people don't have a way to the bank.
You want another van?
We need one. But we even need a bus so that we can go on outings, you know, and
you know, we just gave out one van to our Riverside Transit Agency, RTA. We have surplus vans. They put so many miles on them and they surplus them. They basically completely recondition and then we give them to nonprofits. Just gave one to the Safe House, Operation Safe House here in Riverside for the runaway teens. And we can, I think we did one other recently, but I will talk, as soon as I leave here, I'll get on the phone with RTA. One thing that I have to ask though, Country Village has to make sure, they have to tell me that you have someone that you're going to be able to put it to good use and have a driver for it.
oh.
That's always one of the concerns. We come up with a van. We've done that in the past. We just need to make sure that you have, that it's not going to just sit there and that you're going to utilize it. We want to make sure it's utilized because there's a lot of competition for that.
Excuse me, the city couldn't put somebody and give them a job. I mean, everybody needs a job because we're a little bit older. Maybe you can put a younger person that needs a job. He has a family or she has a family and children. Can the city do that and pay maybe minimum wage to somebody to drive it for us?
Right now, the city's just trying to survive. You could probably, there's a lot of volunteers out there.
Good.
There's a lot of volunteers out there, and I'm pretty positive you could probably find someone to drive that van a couple hours a week or a couple hours a day. I wanted to go back to your question, the man who asked the original question. So I'll talk to you. If you'd leave your name with me, young lady, in the yellow scarf. If you leave me your name, and I'll get you. I see you got a little scarf. I was going to try. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know your name. But if you leave me your name and phone number, I'll make sure that they contact you. Riverside Transit.
Oh, that would be great.
Okay.
I will.
All right. I mean, one more question back. I want to finish off. You mentioned the medical school and all of that. One thing that we've done in Riverside County is we are, as you probably know, University of California, Riverside has been approved for a medical school. We have a huge doctor shortage here in the region. And all they need to do is be accredited. They can't get accredited without a funding plan in place. Riverside County, in fact, it's on our agenda tomorrow, we're giving them $20 million over a period of 20 years to help get that off the ground so that they can get the medical school accredited and open within 2 years. They'll actually start admitting their first students within 20 years. What does that mean, or 2 years? What does that mean for the region? That means a lot of jobs for construction and a lot of high-paying jobs for technicians and physicians and nurses. And that's it. That's probably the biggest economic boost this region will see in decades. I'm sorry, over here.
My name is Thomas Hummel, with Country Police Veterans. I have a question about what is people in Congress, or what representative we have in Congress is helping us veterans get our compensation claimed through the VA system. Right now, you're looking at 5 to 8 years to get it claimed through and approved through the VA system. Also, not only our current veterans that are coming back now, but our veterans that are retired, health care, there's all kinds of issues that we have problems with, the amount of time it takes to get it done. It seems like it's forever. And do we have anybody there actually looking at that? Or someone we can look through to help us get through this system? It's basically just a system issue. It seems like forever and ever.
Yeah, and the question was, in case you didn't hear it, the delays that occur when veterans go to apply for their benefits, whether it be through medical benefits, retirement benefits, whatever it may be. Let's face it, the federal government is a gigantic bureaucracy that needs to be reduced and streamlined, I guess is one of the better ways to say it. We have too many duplicative services within all agencies of the federal government, not just Veterans Affairs. But I attended a meeting 2 or 3 weeks ago, the Vietnam Veterans of America, and they do have special advocates at Jerry Pettis Hospital, the Veterans Hospital in Loma Linda, and then hospital in West Los Angeles. What's that, Wadsworth? West LA. And, but we need more. And there are a lot of volunteers out there. For those of you that are finding time on your hands that are veterans and would like to help other veterans, let us help you through our veteran services here at Riverside County. Become an advocate for other veterans. Those of you that are healthy, have time on your hands, and want to do things to help other veterans, we can do that. I think that's one way we can expedite the process. But there's no doubt it takes way too long and has to be changed. Yeah. Yes, in the back. I'm talking to you. And now that I've learned this thing on TV, it's you with the hood.
Hoodie.
Hoodie.
The hoodie. That's okay.
What I want to ask you is that a lot of people do not own a car, and a lot of people still work, and a lot of people need to use public transportation. In Lancaster, transportation, if you're a senior, is free. No matter where you got to go, it's free. Do you think they might implement something like that for us, for folks like myself? I don't own a car, and I have to work, and I work in Los Angeles, so I need the public transportation. With gas prices going up as much as they keep going, I'm sure a lot more people are going to start needing to ride public transportation. Is there a chance that something like that will be implemented here for seniors in this area, where we will be allowed to ride the buses?
Well, we have done that for college students. We have.
But college students are way stronger than seniors.
No, I know, and that's what I'm saying. We've done it for college students, so anything's possible. The Riverside Transit Agency Board is someone that we can talk to and determine what kind of programs might be available. As you know, they do have, the federal government does subsidize transit. So to a certain extent, it's already reduced, but whether the Riverside Transit Agency Board, which consists of now, 16 cities and something like that, 16 city members and 4 county members, whether they would be willing to provide service for free for the seniors, I'm not sure. Something to explore.
Well, can somebody ask them, can somebody do that over to
Now that you've asked me, we will ask them.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
I appreciate
I
it.
can't guarantee you'll get a positive answer, but I will ask. Okay. Any other questions? Yes. Hi.
I'm not sure whether this would be something that would be within the realm of what you can do, but if you are elected, would you please try and do something to bolster Ontario Airport so that we have a facility here, and it'll employ a lot of people if we can get LA going on.
First and foremost, the first part of your question or comment, it's not if I'm elected, I will be elected. But I need your help. A lot of volunteers and a lot of votes, but you know, I mentioned last year, it irritates me to death when I go to Ontario Airport. And I was at Ontario Airport, well, I had about 85 nights at the Hyatt in Sacramento last year because of my responsibilities at the state level. So you can multiply that twice to and from, and it's embarrassing. Just flying in and seeing one plane at the tarmac at the gate is embarrassing. That's a nice airport, and I am hopeful, and I will do everything I can in cooperation with our current Congressman Ken Calvert, and I know, I believe even Joe Baca is working on the Democratic side to help with that. We need to keep that airport open, and we need to keep it under local control here. Riverside County, by the way, Ontario wants to take it. We have offered to be a part of that and make it a regional airport, Riverside and San Bernardino County, because it definitely needs to be, we need to get it out of the hands of LA. As you know, it's in competition. LA cares about LAX making money, and if it's at the detriment of Ontario, they don't care. So, I eat that. I'll fight like crazy for that. Any others? No? You guys are hungry, aren't you? Okay, I don't blame you. All right, well, please know that I'm going to be there for you every step of the way. I'm a fighter. I enjoy bringing people together, and I'm going to do everything within my abilities and power to turn this country around. So thank you all very, very much.
Real quickly, I was remiss in not introducing Alice Chambers, your Veterans Advisory Board Committee.
Alice Chandler.
Chandler.
Yes, I'm sorry. Alice Chandler.
Alice, please stand and be recognized.
Don, you weren't remiss, I was remiss. Alice Chandler actually got the veterans group started here at Country Village and is my representative on our Veterans Advisory Commission, and she just does a tremendous job everywhere. She's everywhere. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tavaglione, and distinguished guests that we have our